Hey everyone, this is the Bearded Zero, and this is going to be my review of the Hot Toys Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier. And, well, look at the viewfinder, I kind of missed the box. This figure, just going to say off the bat, blew me away. I really like this figure a lot. Let's go ahead and look at the packaging. First off, I had a nice picture of the Winter Soldier with the Russian star in the background. Looks very nice. Has a gloss on the side, as you can see right there. Just like the Black Widow packaging. On the back, here's all the wonderful people you have to thank for bringing this figure to life. And on the side, it says Winter Soldier. So now, let's move on to the figure. Here we have the actual Winter Soldier figure, and yeah. Oh man, this thing is beautiful. I mean, there's a few things that are wrong with it, and there are some QC issues you need to be aware about. But we'll go over those here in a little bit. And I just want to say that this thing is very, very, very impressive. I mean, head to toe, he is armored to the gill. And this thing is just beautiful. So beautiful. Anyways, I'm going to now cut into the accessories. First off, I want to talk about the two accessories that I have left on him, just because they're kind of hard to install. That is the actual grenade rounds right here. He has one on each side. And I left his M4 rifle in his hands. First up, you have his extra hands. This one is for a knife. This is an open palm. This is just like a slouched hand. And this is a fist. And you have his robotic hands, shield holding hand, fist, and a trigger finger. I have like a relaxed hand on the figure as well as a human trigger finger. And moving these to the side. Next thing we get is a small little knife that he spins on his thumb. Really nice knife. Very fragile though. Very fragile. I mean, look how small this thing is to my thumb. Very small. This is also the same kind of knife that Christmas uses in the Expendable series. So yeah, these things are deadly. Moving that to the side. We have two more knives that go on his back. Very awesome. That's what the knife holding hand is for, is these two. Next up, we have a bunch of guns. Next is this little thing right here. I'm going to assume this fires a high caliber round, and it's like a last resort. Because it seems like you only get 2 shots, so I'm guessing this is, I don't know, you put like a 50 cal or something in here. I don't know. I have no idea what this weapon is, but I'm assuming it's a high caliber round, and it's like a last resort, pretty much. I think that's my assumption for that. Next up, we have this whole beautiful silver Derringer right here. 4 barrels, beautiful. I love this thing. Well, it doesn't open up that far. I was hoping it would at least go parallel, but I can understand why, because it's pretty fragile. But, hey, if you were actually loading bullets into this, that would be just fine. Moving that to the side. Next thing we get is this right here. I think it's a 6 hour. And this pistol has been caused a lot of controversies, and some people thought it was a QC issue. I will address that later in the video. Moving that to the side. We actually have this little, I think it's a Vector. And you can open it up right there. You see the bullet. If you... there we go. You can see that's the actual clip. You put it back in there. Close it. Slide this back. And you can see the bullet all the way from the top. It's like a triple layer. That is just so cool looking. Really like this gun. And of course, he has the M4, which is still in the figure, like I showed. Just want to add that the clip comes out of that, and the grenade does slide. Also, forgot to say, this 6 hour slides back and forth, and the clip does come out. But I don't have the nails to get that clip out because it's pretty tight. And last for the guns, let me angle this back up. We actually have the mine launcher that he uses on Nick Fury. This extends. Oh, and the stock extends on the M4 too. God, I keep forgetting things about that thing. Stock extends. The sights actually flip up. If I could get it, I cut my nails. There we go. That flips up, and this actual mine would come out. Oh, there we go, I got it out. It's very tight the first time you get it, so be warned with that, and it is very thin plastic. I'm actually going to do this off camera so I don't snap it. Okay, there we go. Set that to the side. And last, but certainly not least, is, well, it's technically 2 accessories because they come separate in the box, but it's this extra head sculpt. And why is that in shadow? Anyways, this head sculpt is really awesome. Although there are more QC issues with this, and I will address that later on in the video. Like I said, bring this up, get that out of shadow. How this head sculpt works is you take that off, and it's via a magnet, and that felt weird. Hopefully the magnet's not coming unglued. And you actually can take these goggles off. That's why I said it's technically 2 accessories, because this came packaged separately. And you can have this look right here, which looks fantastic. Of course, God, look at those eyes. Look at those Hot Toys eyes. That is just, ugh. Why is there a shadow there? Ew. That's so cool looking. Really like that. So technically, you can get 3 looks with the head on this figure. Goggles and mask, and unmasked, which is on the figure right now. So, there are a lot of options that you can do if you're willing to go through the pain that is associated with this. Like I said, I'll address that later in the video. Alright, now let's take a look at the face sculpt that actually comes on it. And this thing is very awesome. But there are a few nitpicks with it. And just go ahead and say what they are right now. First off, these little things at the bottom of his lips. I have no idea what the hell those are supposed to be. His lips, you know, Sebastian Stan, they don't poke out like that from what I can see. I mean, especially in the, looking at the picture on the box, it doesn't really poke out that far. I mean, he's got like a slant coming from his lip, but it's just really distinct. It looks like he's got tobacco in his bottom lip, is what it looks like. It just, I don't know. I mean, it looks like they took like the shadow from that and sculpted it in. That's like the one thing I think they got wrong with the face. You know, sculpt-wise. And the other thing is, in the movie, he has a lot more stubble than this. And I mean, a lot more stubble. I mean, trying to describe it. It looks like he hadn't shaved in a good week and a half in the movie. This, there's a bit of a 5 o'clock shadow, but, you know, pretty much he looks cleanly shaven. And that's definitely not movie accurate. Also, it's really hard to get light on this face because the hair is just always in shadow, which, you know, works for pictures and everything when you're trying to do a review. Not so much. I do want to add that there is a Velcro piece right here. This part comes undone, and I guess you can undo the entire costume if you wanted to. And that scared me the first time I did that, and that was when I was popping the head off, because you have to pop the head off because there is plastic on the inside. Let me just oh god, this is a bad idea. Yeah, no, not doing that. Nope, sorry, you're not privy to that. I don't want to do that because that is a tight ball joint. I'm not breaking my figure. But, can I get that back on there? There we go. Around the neck, there's a big thing of plastic. And I had to get a pair of tweezers and pull it out. It was really tight in there. And if you unloosen this collar right here, it helps getting it out, but it doesn't make it easy. I don't know why they put the plastic around the bit there. Maybe it's just to keep the dye from the costume dyeing the body, but honestly, you would never see that anyways, where the, you know, that joins, because that neck part doesn't come out or anything. So I don't know. That's really weird. It really baffles me that that plastic was there. I mean, it's just almost like they want you to pull the head off and everything. But getting to the first QC issue that I need to talk about, that's with the head. The ball peg will not fit in this head unless you really warm it up. And this is something I learned from watching the Reviewer King, and this was solidified by Shartimus Prime. Both of these guys had the same issue. They're reviewers I trust, so when two people have something like that happen to them, naturally, I'm not going to let it happen to this figure that's worth $250. Also, when they were trying to get the head off, both times it happened to both Reviewer King and Chartimus, one of these buttons came off. They're just glued on, and I didn't want to risk popping one of those buttons off. You get 3 extras with the figure, which I didn't show in the thing because, well, I don't feel like they're worth mentioning. But, you know, you do get extra buttons if they pop off, which I don't want to mess with because I want to get glue where I'm not going to make it even. Yeah, I just don't want to fuck with it, pretty much. But if you want to struggle with it, because this is not an isolated problem, this is with every version of this figure, you can get this extra head on. And it's a nice extra head. Like I said, you can get 2 extra looks out of this. But personally, I was always going to keep it with this head anyways, so that doesn't bother me. It's still nice to get the extra head, you know, A for effort, but that that really sucks that ball peg doesn't work like that. So that is a huge negative of this figure, but I don't think it's that big of a negative because I think most people will prefer this head sculpt anyways, because it's, you know, Sebastian Stan, you know, it's Bucky. Spoiler alert. But still, I think it works out better than it because it just, you know, further incentivizes me to use this head more, and that's what I like. Alright, now I just want to show you what all the weapons look like when they're on the figure. You can see there's those weapons and that knife right there, and then the grenade I showed you. There's the knives on the back. There's the vector on the back. And then we go here to the side. There's the Sig Sauer, and now we're going to talk about another issue that a lot of people had. And if it would focus. I don't think it's going to focus. Anyways, a lot of people had issue with this pistol coming out, and it does come out easy, but what you can do to solve that, I don't think I'm going to get this to focus, since this slides, and there's a little sight right here, you can slide that up and get it to basically cause friction on this bottom peg. Won't come off. Won't come off with just a little bit of force. I mean, if you touch the pistol, it'll still come out very easily, but it's not going to come falling out if you just move the arm like it does in like a Reviewer King's video. That really helps it stay in there a lot. So just push the sight up against the black thing right there. You might get some paint rub that way, but it keeps it from falling out. So I think that's a good enough remedy for me. And the last thing I wanted to talk about in this review is the arm. Because this gets its own segment because it's so beautiful. Oh man, this thing is wonderfully painted, wonderfully detailed. I mean, look at the star. That is just, ugh, I love the paint on that star. I do hate that it's a single bend, but, you know, for aesthetics reasons, I know why they went that way. Also, I wish it was die-cast. Because, you know, it's a metal arm. I think that's the one thing you could say that, oh, Hot Toys, you could have done better on this. I mean, it's not saying that it's bad because it doesn't have a die-cast arm, but that would have been so much better if it had a die-cast arm. So much better. But yeah, overall, this figure just looks menacing. I mean, that is just so cool looking. I gotta work with the pose a little bit, but yeah, this thing is so cool. I mean, this is Bucky. This is the Winter Soldier, and that is just beautiful. I love it. I love it. Now, we need to talk about the actual score, or recommendation or not. So yeah, do I recommend this, or do I not? Well, first off, that's the extras I don't have on it. You've seen the extras I do have extras I do have on it. You know my opinion on the face sculpt. You know I love the way this figure looks. So, yeah, this is a high I recommend. I mean, this figure is just practically begging to be paired with that Captain America 2-pack. Get the Steve Rogers figure and just pair them together. Get that, you know, who the hell's Bucky moment. That's just what's going through my head when I see this. I'm just looking at that face. I mean, that face just looks like, who the hell's Bucky? I love that. You know, as a Captain America fan, I really did enjoy that moment in the movie. You know, it sends chills down my spine. Just I don't know why. It just sends chills down my spine every time I see it. You know, I've watched The Winter Soldier going on 8 times now, and I gotta say, it still has the same effect on me. I really do enjoy that movie, and I'm glad that I got this figure. This figure looks so menacing. I mean, there's so many different posing options you can do with this figure. I only had him in one pose in this video, but that's because I just didn't feel like fiddling with it because he is kind of delicate. Also, one thing I forgot to mention in my negatives is the hands, the human hands. They are stiff as hell. So when you're trying to put them on that peg right there, it really feels like you're going to break the peg. That was one of the most stressing moments I've had trying to put that on. I mean, I thought putting the hands on Black Widow was bad, right? Because the peg is so small. No, one of the most nerve-wracking things you'll ever do is trying to get these hands on that peg. So, basically, this fucker is always going to keep the trigger finger on. And if he doesn't, then he's probably going to have either this open hand or a fist, and it's going to stay that way. I'm not going to rotate it too often because this thing is very, very, very nerve-wracking. Also, one final note, you're going to want to read the instructions. They have very crucial details on how to handle your figure, so please read them, as you always show up with every Hot Toys figure. So yeah, definitely go buy this figure. This is a... trying to come up with a really good pun. I don't think I'm going to come up with one. This is the highest recommend that I can give it as a Captain America fan. So, you know, definitely any Marvel collector out there needs to get this figure. Any, Captain America Pacific fan needs to get this figure. If you just like villains, get this figure. If you just like awesome toys, get this figure. This figure will really satisfy anybody that buys it, even if you haven't seen The Winter Soldier. I mean, even if you hate the movie, this figure is awesome on its own. I mean, you admit, the aesthetics look great. I don't think anybody would ever buy this figure and be disappointed with it because it's that great of a figure. I mean, the QC issues are very damning. They are. And they really knock the figure down a bit, I think. But if you can get past those, this is an awesome figure. It's definitely the best Hot Toys figure I own. Granted, I only own 4. But this is definitely the best that I have. And this really gives me hope for more Hot Toys in the future. I mean, the Black Widow kind of brought it down a bit because, I was just a little dissatisfied with that figure overall. But this definitely gives me hope that the rest of those new Hot Toys figures are going to be great. So, yeah, looking forward to collecting the rest of the Winter Soldier line. And definitely getting that Captain America 2-pack now because I gotta get that. Anyways, I've been the Barry Zeno for Collecting Phoenix Entertainment. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the figure, leave in the comments down below. I'll see you in the next video!